जय गजानन गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं हेरंबाय एकदंतिने स्वानंदवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः. Today we shall discuss about Yuga Dharma. Yesterday we saw Kala, different yugas, how time was created and how the concept of time began with just the time taken to utter a sound. Akshara was considered named as Nimisha. Progressively, we saw the concept of time to right up to all the seasons, years, months, days, weeks, all of them we saw. Today we also saw the yugas. What is a yuga? A total day in the life of Brahma is one kalpa, which is 4 crore 32 lakhs years. So a day and one night will include means a total, that is 8 crore 64 lakh number of years. And now, in this span of one kalpa, there are several cycles of Chaturyugas. Chaturyugas are 4 yugas: Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. 4 cycles of time within one period, that is that is known as a Chatur Yuga or a Mahayuga. Now, Krita Yuga, as per this text, Mudgal Puran, in the Chatur Yuga, it is 12,000 heavenly years. Now remember, one heavenly year is equal to 360 human years. One heavenly year is equal to 360 human years. So now in this Chatur Yuga, 4,000 heavenly years is Krita Yuga. Then there is Treta Yuga, which is 3,000 years, Dwapara Yuga is 2,000 years, and Kali Yuga 1,000 years. But in between these two, between one Yuga and another, Treta Yuga and between Krita Yuga and Treta Yuga, there is a period of 800 years. The transition period that I told you about. Krita Yuga is for 4,000 years. Then there is a transition period of 800 years. Then comes Treta Yuga. Then after Treta Yuga, there is, which is for 3,000 years, there is a transition period of 600 years. And then comes Dwapara Yuga. After Dwapara Yuga, which is for 2,000 years, there is a transition period of 400 years. Then comes Kali Yuga, after which there is a transition period of 200 years. So in all, 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10,000 years. And the transition periods, 800, 600, 400, and 200 becomes 2,000 years. So in all, there is the total Chatur Yuga is a total period of 12,000 years, which is 360 human years. So when you multiply that, you get a Chatur Yuga of 43 lakh 20,000 years. Okay, so in all, there will be a Kruta Yuga of 17 lakh 28,000 years, Treta Yuga of 12 lakh 96,000 years, Dwapar Yuga of 8 lakh 64,000 years, and Kali Yuga 4 lakh 32,000 years. But this doesn't within this broad 4 yugas, that is of one Chatur Yuga, if you take in totality. But there are many smaller Chatur Yugas which are known as solar yugas, solar cycles of 12,000 Chatur Yuga, 12,000, one Chatur Yuga. And so in that Chatur Yuga, there is Kruta Yuga is 4,800 years. Treta Yuga is 3,600 years. Dwapar Yuga is 2,400 years. And Kali Yuga is 1,200 years. This is what we normally take into account when we calculate the 71 manvantaras or 71 to 72 manvantaras in one kalpa, we take into account these Chaturyugas of 12,000 years as per our calculations. So in one Chatur Yuga, there will be 14 Manvantaras, 14 Manus will be there. And one Manu is a period of 306.72 million years. Or we can say approximately 4 million years is a Manvantara, or 311 million years. Whichever way, because here, when we take into account the gap, that gap between two Chatur Yugas, approximately a Manvantara is 311 million years. So there are 71 to 72 Chatur Yugas in one Kalpa. Okay. So on an average, if you take 71 Chaturyugas, 71 Chaturyugas multiplied by 14 Manvantaras becomes 994 Chaturyugas. If you take 72, it becomes, if you multiply by 14 Manvantaras, then you get 1008 Chaturyugas. So on an average, between 994 and 1008. So on an average, you can take 1000 Chaturyugas is taken as one Kalpa. So one kalpa, 1000 Chaturyugas. Yesterday I told you that solar cycle, solar is 43 lakh 20,000 years. So it is 10 solar cycles becomes one day of Brahma. So 100 years of Brahma is the lifetime of Brahma. Brahma's lifetime is 100 years. So this 1000 Chaturyugas becomes one kalpa. So 10 Chaturyugas, or you can say 10 multiplied by 100, becomes one day of Brahma. Now, presently, Brahma is 51 years old. We are in the seventh Manvantara called Vaivaswata Manvantara. The earlier Manvantara was Chakshusha Manvantara. Sixth Manvantara was Chakshusha Manvantara. After that Manvantara, the Pralay period, the annihilation or the floods that had happened had went on for 420 years. So between one Chaturyuga and another Chaturyuga, when floods or some kind of a destruction happens, it takes some time before the next Yuga starts. So that the previous one, it was 420 years. We are now in the 28th Chaturyuga of 12,000 years, and we are in the Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, see, so we'll see in Krita Yuga, what is the dharma that is followed? In Krita Yuga, the dharma is that of sacrifice or yajna karmas. Generally, it is penance or austerities that are followed. And in the Treta Yuga, the dharma is that of, one minute. There is a slide in the dharma of the Treta Yuga is yajna karmas, but in Krita Yuga, it is meditation. Meditation is a mainly form of penance in the Krita Yuga. Okay, and in Dwapara Yuga, it is the worship of deities. That is, we make idols and of deities and we worship them. And in Kali Yuga, the main method of worship is through chanting of mantras or stotras or names. As generally in the Ghor Kali Yuga, they say simply chanting the name Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Chanting of the name of the Lord is enough. So that is Kali Yuga. In the Kruta Yuga, which is also known as Satya Yuga, okay? Kruta Yuga, the fruits are according to whatever penance you do. The fruits of actions are according to whatever penance, which is which is generally meditation. Treta Yuga also, the fruits are according to the yajna karmas that you perform. That is why Dasharatha performed the yajnas even to get a son for propitiation of his legacy. Then Dwapara Yuga, it is worship of deities. Or puja archana is done during Dwapara Yuga. And Kali Yuga, we sing bhajans or sing the name or chant the names of God. Now, between the Krita Yuga and Treta Yuga, there is a transition period of 800 years. In that 800 years, 400 years, you will get fruits according to the previous Yuga. That is, will be according to the Kruta Yuga. That is, whatever punya you will get will be according to the actions performed according to the dharma of the Kruta Yuga, Yuga Dharma. And in the Treta Yuga, the remaining 400 years in the transition period, it will be in the out of the 400 years, 300 years will be the fruits of actions will be according to the Treta Yuga.
When you said this transition period, no,
Mm.
I was going to ask you what happens in this period.
Yeah, what
I
happens
just
in this
replied
period?
it.
So in this period, it is split into half. The first half will be according to the previous yuga, and the latter half will be according to the the next
Rajesh, you
yuga,
have read my
following yuga.
mind.
So the three in out of the 400 years, there will be some who will be following entirely of the next yuga. Some may still follow of the previous yuga. So for 300 years, the fruits will be of the following yugas, the Treta Yuga. And for 100 years, the remaining 100 years out of that 800 years will be entirely of Treta Yuga. Then between Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, there is a gap of 400 years, transition period of 600 years. Sorry, 600 years. So in that 600 years, 300 will be of Treta Yuga and 200 will be of Dwapar Yuga and 100 will be totally of Dwapar Yuga. In that the second half will be in the 200 periods, some 10-20% maybe of Treta Yuga, and remain most 80% will be of Dwapar Yuga, and then the remaining the last period, the final almost transition period will be entirely of Dwapar Yuga. So in that 600 years gap between Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, 300 years you'll get fruits of action according to Treta Yuga, and out of the remaining 300 years, 200 years you'll get entirely of Treta, Dwapar Yuga, as well as those who follow some dharma of the Treta Yuga will also get in that 200 years. Then the final 100 years will be entirely of Dwapar Yuga. Then from Dwapar Yuga transition to Kali Yuga, there is a gap of 400 years. Out of that, first 200 years you'll get fruits of action according to Dwapar Yuga, and out of the remaining 200 years, 100 years will be 100 or 150 years will be according to Dwapar Yuga, and the rest to Kali Yuga. And between Kali Yuga, after Kali Yuga, there is nothing will be left. So there is no question of fruits of any action. So we come to, and another thing is, during Dwapar Yuga, another characteristic of these yugas is, we are talking about Yuga Dharma. What are the qualities or features of these different yugas? In Krita Yuga, man will be using 100% of his mind. Okay. In Treta Yuga, he'll be using 75% of his mind or of his intellect. Dwapar Yuga, he'll be using half, 50%. In Kali Yuga, 25%. And by the time the Kali Yuga ends, it will be 2, 3, 1%, 3 to 1% of his mind. So then then what is the age of a human being during these different yugas? In Kruta Yuga, it is 1 lakh years. In Treta Yuga, it is 10,000 years. In Dwapar Yuga, it is 1,000 years. And in Kali Yuga, it is 100 years. And when it tapers down, when Kali Yuga tapers down, it will be even, we may come down to 15 years or 18 years. And at that, and our height will be reduced to 3 foot. 3 foot, only our height will be reduced. We will be almost like pygmies, dwarfs. 3 foot only our height will be. And even at that time, the girls will attain puberty in 5-6 years. 5 years she can deliver a child. So means means it will be, that will be the condition of that will be the physical characteristics of these different yugas. Then during Kruta Yuga, the dharma, what is the dharma that is followed is generally knowledge. The Yuga Dharma is Brahma Dharma, that is following the path, going on the path to attain Brahma as a supreme. And Dharma is eternal, Sanatana Dharma, and has a foundation of 4 pillars or 4 legs or 4 thumb, you know what we say, pillars, which is tapas. In the Krita Yuga, it will be tapas. Shaucha, tapas means penance. Shaucha means cleanliness. Daya means kindness or generosity. And one more Satya, truth. So these are the four pillars of the Yuga Dharma of Krita Yuga, the first Yuga. Then when it comes to Treta Yuga, then the pillars will be reduced to three. Dharma is founded on three pillars. Which are the three pillars? Shaucha, cleanliness. Daya, generosity or kindness. And Satya, truth. Then in Dwapar Yuga, the Yuga Dharma will be supported by two pillars only, and that is Daya and Satya. Daya, kindness, and Satya, truth. And in Kali Yuga, there will be only one pillar, and that is truth. In Krita Yuga, the it is jnana that is worshipped, knowledge, wisdom, that is what is worshipped. In Treta Yuga, Surya is worshipped. That is why in Treta Yuga only Rama was born, who is from the Raghu Vamsha. Raghu Vamsha is the solar dynasty. Then sorry, this is Treta Yuga. Okay. Then Dwapara Yuga is Vishnu is the deity. That is why we have the Chandra Vamsha, the Kauravas, Pandavas, Chandra Vamsha. Then Kali Yuga, Shambhu is the deity, principal deity. So these are the so that is why we find that these Puranas or these incarnations will be more manifest in these yugas. According to the Yuga Dharma, accordingly that deity will manifest. And when that deity manifests, only he can bring major changes. So, but in all the four yugas, Ganesha is the first worshipped. Ganesha is always the Jeshta Raja, always has to be worshipped first in order to remove any obstacles before beginning of any work or any activity. Then then Ganesha manifests also incarnates in all the yugas. Whenever there is a imbalance, in spite of the prevalence of these deities of worship and all, there may be imbalances where the devas might become more powerful, or the daityas may become more powerful, or adharma may become more powerful, dharma may not be there. So then in order to bring about an energetic balance, Ganesha will manifest. In Kruta Yuga, Vinayaka, he manifests as Vinayaka, who is the son of Kashyapa. He comes with 10 arms riding on a lion in Kruta Yuga. Then in Treta Yuga, he manifests as Mayuresha, that is son of Shiva and Parvati, and he comes on a peacock. He is white in color. In Dwapar Yuga, he manifests as Gajanana, son of King Varenya. We have seen that briefly in the first Khand, where we saw that he manifested to as king, as son of King Varenya to uh, teach him or to kill Sindhurasur and then to teach Varenya Ganesh Gita. So he's red in color in this incarnation. He's red in color, blood red in color, and he rides a Moshaka rat. He comes on a rat. Then in Kali Yuga, he is two armed and he will manifest on a horse. He'll be Dhumravarna, smoke colored, gray color, and how he can be won over is through devotion. He recognizes the devotion in all and he will help to cross over the samsara. So these are the various incarnations of the deities who will be more powerful in which yuga. According to the yuga, who will be more powerful, and then but in all the yugas, Ganesha incarnates to bring about a certain balance. And what are the incarnations? Vinayaka, Mayuresha, Gajanana, and Dhumravarna. So, and we also saw the pillars on which all the four yugas stand on. The four pillars of uh, tapas, shaucha, daya, and satya. Tapas is penance or austerities. Shaucha is cleanliness. That is why we say cleanliness is next to godliness. Then daya, generosity. Satya is truth. Truth is God or God is truth. So all of these are the four pillars of the Krita Yuga. Treta Yuga is Shaucha, Satya, and Daya. Shaucha, Daya, and Satya. And Dwapara Yuga, it's only two pillars, Daya and Satya. And Kali Yuga, it is only Satya. That is truth. So these are the Yuga Dharmas um, and the manifestations of the deities, the time period, the lifespan, the qualities of the people. Now, what are the qualities of the people, ordinary man, how they will behave? In Krita Yuga, all subjects behave differently. They follow the path of Dharma. They are all devout and benevolent. They respect each other. They do not exhibit any deceit or envy. They don't argue or fight. They are virtuous since childhood, and therefore they are always happy. Then they abhor physical indulgences. They are learned, they practice meditation and are happy. All follow Varnashrama Dharma with devotion. They have faith in the Supreme Divine and are absorbed in the practice or in austerities or doing penance or doing yoga. They engage in physical pleasures with their wives only when appropriate. They follow the Dharma and are happy. There, in Krita Yuga, they are also even particular when, during what time of the day they can engage or what time of the night engage in conjugal bliss also. So they are very, very calculative in the benevolence, the merits that will happen because of their actions. Means not actions for action's sake, just karte jao, we just keep doing things without thinking also. So they will be very, do only appropriate actions at the appropriate time. Then in Treta Yuga, Dharma loses one of its pillar. That penance ka pillar goes away. So then what happens? The virtuosity of the people will diminish in the Treta Yuga. There will be differences in thoughts and actions. Self-interest is the primary objective, and helping others will be secondary. And they will start indulging gradually in all material objects and enjoyment. Between the Krita Yuga and Treta Yuga, there is a transitional period of 800 years. In this transitional period, as we saw, the first 400 years will be according to the influence of the Treta Yuga, means according to how you practice meditation, how you are devoted to your Dharma, how you practice your virtues and all that. According to that, you'll get fruits of action. In the next 300 years, it will be according to the Treta Yuga. The benefits of the influence of Krita Yuga disappears. Benefit, whatever you do, that may not have any effect at all. At the end of, so then the next 300 years, it will be at the end of, will be Treta Yuga. At the end of 700 years, 100 years, you come to be completely under the Dharma of Treta Yuga. Then in Treta Yuga, the influence of Dharma is absolute. The same pattern will occur between Treta and Dwapara. And Dwapara Dharma will be supported only by two pillars. In Dwapara Yuga, subjects are selfish, people are selfish. They have many disputes, quarrels. That is why you see in Dwapara Yuga, Mahabharata Yuddha took place. All that will be quarrels, disputes between land, property, and everything. So people will pretend to be saints, modest and religious by their appearance, but are actually licentious. They pretend to be dharma, yeah. Then they pretend to be religious in society to impress others of their righteousness, but in their homes, they disregard dharma, indulge in physical gratification. People in Dwapara Yuga are deprived of religion and have become corrupt in their minds. So actually in Krita Yuga, Markandeya, this is Markandeya Rishi has defined this time period and all in his Markandeya Puran. In that he says, Krita Yuga, people are generally of sattvic nature, sattvic in mind. Pure qualities will be sattvic in nature. Treta Yuga, it will be rajasic in nature. That is why we see Ram Avatar and all in during Treta Yuga. Rajasic, that is, which is activity oriented, passionate in nature. Then in the tamasic qualities will prevail less in Dwapara Yuga, but Rajasic qualities continue to exist. Rajasic qualities, the proportion will reduce as compared to the Treta Yuga. Rajasic qualities will reduce, Tamasic will enter, but it will be in less quantity. In Kali Yuga, it is totally tamasic in nature. All good and virtues are destroyed. Kali is an idol of sin. How can Dharma of Brahmins exist? So, what happens in Kali Yuga is fatal epidemics occur. There is a threat of starvation. Countries face adversities like drought, fire, atrocities, terrorism. People are not righteous, they are mostly atheists. They are evil, dull witted, greedy. There are calamities that happen, and then there is inappropriate behavior, immoral behavior. They also resort to black magic. This tantricism all comes during Kali Yuga. That is, whereas Vamabhaga, the left-sided activity, they engage in that, and generally the ones with lesser wisdom, they generally resort to the tantric activity because it is more physical in nature. Whereas if you have to remember Vedas, Shastras, and Stotras, you have to memorize them. For that, you need some intellect to memorize, retain in memory. So mind should be powerful. But here, the percentage of the of my mind utilization keeps reducing from this Krita Yuga to Treta Yuga to Dwapara in Kali Yuga to almost 25, less than 10% is used. So naturally, the memory for retention of of the stotras, of slokas, of Vedas and all is not there. And as a result, even the Brahmins who are chanting, they are merely repeating, ritualistic. They are not with understanding or with the knowledge, they are not chanting. So the power of the mantras gets reduced. There will be intercaste marriages, there will be marriages between Brahmins and Shudras and everything. They will be the Shudras will be the kings and will torment the Brahmins. Brahmins will be killed by kings, slaying of animals will be practiced. Such auspicious acts will not be performed. That is like yagna karmas and all that will not be there because the number of Brahmins will be reduced. People, the Brahmins, even having that knowledge, will also be reduced because really people who have been what was there in the Krita Yuga and all the elaborate detailing of the practice. That is with if a yagna is there, then there is the sixth round, sixth enclosure, fifth enclosure, fourth enclosure, third enclosure, second enclosure. Then who are the deities of each enclosures? And then there are mantras of each of the deities of each of these enclosures. And when we are performing yajna of a particular deity, you perform of the first you perform the main deity a certain number of times, say 5 lakh times 5 lakh times a mantra. And that mantra is not a short, not Om Namah Shivaya or something. It is a big 4-5 lines mantra. So that has to be chanted about 5 lakh times. Then of each of the deities, of each enclosure, if there are 4 deities in the first enclosure, then each deities is half of what you chant for the deity in the center. That is 2,50,000 times. Then for the next enclosure, it will be half of the previous one. So 1,25,000. Then like that, the number of enclosures for each of the deity, that many number of times. And then for all this, the total budget or whatever is a 1/10 is donated. generosity. So that also comes a part of the yajna karma. So imagine everything is very well designed. Nobody still now nobody has all that knowledge of what of each of these detailing. We just do something first do Ganesh puja and then do some puja archana and then chant something or say some sloka and then finish it off. But it was not like that. So that is why even the Brahmins to perform the yajnas are not there, and only yes we do have some ritualistic practices still existing in the sense that there's still thread ceremonies are there. Still, we chant the Gayatri mantra. So some basic necessary or basic is still there. So that is why um that thread continues. Means we don't entirely lose the link from the Krita Yuga to Kali Yuga. Still, the thread ceremony will go on. The changing of the thread every year. Then you chant 108 times or 1008 times the Kamokashi Mandiradashi every year on one particular day on that Purnima. Then the Sharad Purnima, I think, and then like that you certain rituals are still maintained so that we don't lose the essence or the power of the mantras. But still Brahmins will not have any interest in their own dharma, mainly because it is not remunerative. If there are nobody to engage the Brahmins, means if you strictly follow the Brahmins dharma, then he has to survive only on what he gets from performing these pujas in different places. What they give, on that only you should survive. What you eat from that only you can survive. You cannot you cannot earn anything. And what they will give, they'll generally give rice or some clothes to wear or something like that. So for your other needs, what you will do? So then that is why in Kali Yuga we will need a scooter, we will need some transport to go there. So in the Krita Yuga and all, it used to be walking distance. I mean, they used to go walking, but now there is no walking. You have to travel. So then you'll need some money for that. You can't pay rice at the railway counter or the bus. So you'll have to have money. So then it comes. Then you have to. Then there the commercialization happens. So then the exact purity of what was expected in the Treta Yuga or in Kruta Yuga, it cannot happen. So that is how the dilution happens. And then, of course, then money has its own attraction. Then money will, it has its own enchantment, no? That inherent high quality usme. So then you will want better clothes or more conveniences. So all that comes along with it. So what happens is there will be hypocrites, cowardly, untruthful, without virtues. So there will be a greed also. And the Shudras will maintain cleanliness, will shave their heads, and will wear saffron clothes. That's also written. And that is what we see in Buddhism. That is, Buddhism has come in Kali Yuga. And who gave Buddhism? Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya only gave Buddhism, began in Kerala, and it was adopted by every others. He didn't practice. He may have just introduced that Buddhist concept, but we find so many Buddhists because they feel that they get more respect when they wear the saffron clothes, shave off their heads. Then almost they find themselves as though they get a feeling of being a Brahmin. You see, you go to Nagpur, you'll have the whole city in the during the Buddha Purnima and those days, almost for a week-long celebration. Everyone on the streets will be clean shaven and with orange ochre-colored robes, and that day, I think there is a free train given by the government. There is no charge, no tickets are there on that going up and down. So the Buddhism has become popular in Kali Yuga, and so that is how even the Shudras will maintain cleanliness. They will during those days, okay, will shave off their heads. Otherwise, the city is a mess after that, and will wear saffron clothes like Brahmins. They will follow the dharma of Brahmins. People will steal food and will break the boundaries of moral conduct. They will commit incest. There will be thieves. They will steal. There will be dacoits and robbers. Lives will be full of sorrow. lifespan will be reduced. People will want to satisfy their senses. In other words, they will eat, drink, and be merry. People will be engrossed in gambling, drinking, and licentiousness. So, see, this might have been written in Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, this book. So clearly it defines the present day situation,
That
right?
Ganpati Aarti they do, they put the tape recorder on. Ganpati Puja.
Yes,
No Brahmin
that's enough.
required.
That is, yeah. Then there is a Kapalika worship. Kapalika means because Shambhu, Shiva is the main deity of Kali Yuga. He has cut off that, so that skull is worshipped. Skull is held as a begging bowl, and that is and Shiva is seen with wearing the garland of skulls and eating and drinking. So all this will happen. Commercialization of Vedas and even trading of sacred articles. We see all of that. It will see in increasing number in the days to come. It's already increased. It has already. Sometimes we feel it has reached its peak. What more is there to be? Extent it can go. We begin to think the twice born, that is Dvijas, and those well versed in shastras will be thrashed. So those who really chant the Vedas and mantras, they will be thrashed, and so they will. On the other hand, Kali Yuga Shudras will start learning the Vedas, and they will assume high positions and and learned Brahmins will be subservient. Sudras will be seated in prestigious positions. They'll be honored by Brahmins by singing their praise. Ulti, the reverse trend.
Multi Ganga.
Ulti Ganga will be will not will be there, is there now. So it was written as will be, but now it is. Sudras will become masters of scriptures and they will expound Dharma Shastras. It seems Modi practices Tantra. He's a master in Tantras, Tantra worship. And a lot of his things are based on this tantric worship and before doing anything and all that. Shudras will become, then Brahmins will become vendors of Vedas, penance, yajnas, and fruits of the good deeds. Abandoning their own husbands, women will be engaged in promiscuity and will commit adultery. Even ascetics will be attracted to alcohol, women. Kali Yuga will follow the Vama Marga, the left sided path. Pashupata, Sankhya, and Panchavahaka sects, that is following the Tantra Vidya in the world, will be more rampant. That is why you find all kinds of tantra practices using talisman. What's that? Which they tie, they put the mantras and they tie in their arms and amulets and all that. All of this, people will be idle. Insects, mice, snakes will become powerful and will generate fear in the minds of the people. Rishis and Munis who were, and another the thing, Rishis and Munis who were burnt in the ashes of the Daksha Yagna. Daksha Yagna, where Daksha Prajapati, where Daksha's head was chopped off, and the remaining, the Munis who had participated in the Yagna and was burnt by Shiva Ganas. Remember when Sati immolated herself, Sati immolated herself in the Daksha Prajapati Yagna. At that time, when Narada came and told Shiva that see Sati has died there, so then he was grief stricken and he sends Bhairava, Kala Bhairava, and he sends and with he they come with all the Shivaganas, all the Bhuta Preta, all of them, and they come and they thrash out that entire yagna. So a lot of rishis, munis were killed and they were burnt in the yagna fire. All of those people will be born in Kali Yuga. Similarly, these misguided, so munis who were burnt to ashes due to the curse of Dadichi. At that time, Dadichi had cursed that you will all be burnt karke, and even uh, Nandi had also cursed that you will get that. That's how Daksha Prajapati got a head of a goat. So all of those people will be born here and they will resort to Vama Marga. the left hand ritual or the doctrine of the tantras. So these the tantra marga they make use of in the rituals. They use wine, meat. That is the offering which is made in the tantra marga. In the fire, they offer wine, meat, matsya, fish, parched grain, and they also have maithuna. Maithuna is sexual postures. Sexual postures are also done during that ritual, the tantric practices. So ignorant people will be corrupt. They surrender to the path of Buddhism, considering him as your savior. They'll be enticed by the illusory form of Buddha, not the real Buddha. Buddha, the real Buddha was an evolved person, a person who had, that is your Swata Uttana. We had told of two things in the Asamprajna Samadhi and Sampradya Samadhi, Asamprajna Samadhi in the path of yoga, where there is a descent of the divine and there is an ascent of the human being. So, in the ascent of the human being, that is Swata Uttana, there is an enlightened, a yogi, a person, he evolves through all these chakras, going to the higher chakras, and he will make use of the tools to attain the experience of the being of Brahma. That is Swata Uttana by making use of the tools. What are the tools? The tools will be your mind, your intellect, your wisdom, your or your visualization. Those are all the tools. When you cross that, when you go to asamprajna, that there is no tools. That means it will be a blank space where you will imagine, where you will be experiencing that is, you'll be experiencing the incorporeal part of the Brahma. That is unmanifest part of Brahma. So, the enlightened Buddha, the term Buddha is enlightenment. So, when the person who is enlightened, that was the real Buddha. But then the people who are in Kali Yuga, they will be enlightened, they will get surrendered to the false Buddha. Means they will surrender to the path of Buddhism, considering them as their savior. They will think that you have to worship him. They won't follow that path of that practice of illumination or enlightenment. They will simply surrender and simply shave off the head or wearing the clothes has no impact. So they will be enticed by the illusory form of Buddha. They will be enticed by the physical appearance of the illusory form of Buddha, and they will think that is only enlightenment, or that is only this, that is um, um, the heights they can reach. So when 10,000 years of Kali Yuga is completed, Vishnu will leave the earth. Vishnu will leave the earth, that is, and then return to his abode. Holy rivers like Bhagirathi and others will not remain in the same form. We see many of the rivers just Nala like it has become. Nala. It is not, the purity has gone. It is filled with dirt and filth. So this will go on for 5,000 years. Then after that, the purity will be destroyed, because half that tenure village date, and then after some time, the deities in the temples will disappear. They will go back. They will leave that temples. So actually, whatever idols we see in some of the temples have no power, because when we make it more and more commercial and more of these evil practices, the tantric practices and all, then the deity will leave the idol. वो आइडल जो कॉन्सेक्रेशन में जब था, वो पावर नहीं रहता है उसमें. So that is why we are the government, or I mean whoever's advocating of renovating the temples and all, they don't need to have to take all the trouble. They need not take all the trouble, because the deities have left those temples. Deities ही नहीं है तो वो सिर्फ stone पत्थर है, तो there is no need of any reconsecration. It will not happen. So until and unless the power, the energetically the deities come back and occupy that, then only it is worth renovating or rejuvenating those temples. So that is why wherever the deities still have power, we should preserve them and not destroy them. Asuric tendencies will prevail in places of pilgrimage. This prompts the deities of the kshetras to abandon the kshetras. So that is what is preventing that. Whenever we commercialize a particular place and we practice evil practices. See, whenever we make a commercial something, that in that place people will go there, and then people will tend to doing robbery happens there, cheating happens there. So when these kind of practices happen, naturally the virtues goes away. The virtues, the deities. This prompts the deities to leave the place, even in the kshetras. In Kali Yuga, Asuric powers enter the idol, or Asuric powers enters the idols of the deities. So when the actual deities goes away, if we keep
Vacancy is
those
there.
deities,
So,
Asuric powers will enter the deities and enjoy the offerings made to these idols. In Kali Yuga, deities of Devalayas and Tirthas will be in hiding. They are thus forced to fast. However, when human beings are going through a blessed phase, asuras will be expelled and the deities of Tirthas will return. So, if we are good as human beings, if we are good, generous, and we follow the truth, path of truth and all, then the deities can return to those places also where they have abandoned. Yet the ones who are corrupt and evil continue to behave in their asuric tendencies. So, under such circumstances, all the deities go away. Only what survives, even in Kali Yuga, is Ganesha and Mahashakti. Mahashakti and Ganesha, they survive, and after annihilation, all after the pralay when it happens, this everything gets absorbed into Mahashakti and Ganesha. Mahashakti is Siddhi and Buddhi, where all the asuric, all the desires, everything go back. And in Ganesha, those who have been devotees of Ganesha, they get absorbed into him as souls, as light. And then when again Ganesha wants to remanifest, again the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamo gunas come out of the Mahashakti, the Asat Brahma, in various permutations and combinations, and again life happens. So this is how the Yuga Dharma happens, of different yugas of this Kala. The Kala, which we saw, the time frame of various periods of time, different stretches of time, which is the divisions of time. The when the mind is strong, when the actions are strong, when Kshatriyas or when the Rajasic gunas are strong, when Tamasic guna is strong, which is dominant, means instead of saying strong, we can say which is more dominant, that will have a greater impact on the larger masses of people. Okay, so this is a general outline of Yuga Dharma. All calculations of time are endowed with Maya and therefore illusory. Then after this, again, at the time of when Asuric tendencies have conquered the earth, Rishis, Munis will worship Ganesha as we saw, and then Ganesha will incarnate, kill the Asuras or make them to surrender, then send them to their respective places, and then Dharma will be
that
restored.
was my question.
Huh?
When is it going to happen?
Yeah. Now we are
When will
already feeling the pressure, right? We are already feeling the heat of the thing, and we are wondering when is this going to happen. So so it will happen in due course. After re-establishing Dharma, the Lord will disappear. Thereafter, Krita Yuga will once again begin, and again the cycle will start. Okay. Any questions on this?
There's a book by the name Blink, Blink. Have you read
Okay.
it? It is
No.
worth reading. I
Okay.
had it, I don't know. I think I gave it to somebody
Okay.
because my son says, "Don't keep the books. You see only on the last thing, what Wi-Fi, whatever you want to see."
Okay. Who's the
I
author
had
of
purchased
Blink?
it. Blink. I
What
don't
is it
remember
about?
also. Pardon?
What is it about?
You know, what happens in a blink? Yeah,
In a blink. Okay.
ah, like you said, no,
So that
Nimisha.
is most of fiction. It
Uh,
is out of
might
imagination.
be fiction, but there is some relevance to
Relevant.
real.
Okay.
I mean, when you read the book, you feel, this is happening regularly. That is
Mm.
what we feel. And another word, Illuminati. Have you heard
Mm.
of it? There is
Illuminating
a
is the
sect.
name of a book.
No, it is a
Mm.
sect, a group of people who are practicing all those things. You said no,
Light
tantras.
workers. Is it light workers?
No, Illuminati. These are they are a secluded group. They
Mm.
would you would know who is who. Well, he'll be a member of that society, like group, and they practice all these rituals, good or bad, whatever. I
What?
came I came across that. I read the whole thing. What they do, like like just long back. Illuminati. That is the word. I think
Okay.
you may find it on the web. I'll see. This Blink is very good. If you come across that book, you read it. If I find it, I will send it to you by courier.
Okay.
Because I have given away all the books. And outside there was a shoe rack of my house, outside, just to the wall, which is ours. There, actually, it was made for shoes, but nobody
Mm.
keeps the shoes there. So
Mm.
all sorts of unwanted things are there. I removed those and put all the books over there because this fellow will shout, "Why are these books in the house? उसमें कीड़ा लग जाता है, ऐसा हो जाता है, वैसा हो जाता है." Then I removed them and kept, Hindi books. Ghatkopar, there is our society, Canara Bank. There was a library there. I donated most of them
Damodar
to them.
Park. Damodar
Damodar Park.
Park.
There was a library. I don't know long back, but somebody told me I'm staying there. That Hindi head, that lady.
Official
Uh,
language section. Kamala.
she was in the Hindi section, heading the senior manager. When I told her this, I said, "Why don't you donate it to us? We will keep it for people to read it free." I said,
Mm.
"As it is lying like that. I said, you take it." Two
Mm.
bags, took it and gave it to her.
Okay. So
But
thank
all
you. Thank you for a good idea. I have six cupboards, so I needed to clear some of them instead of buying one more cupboard. I was instead of buying one more cupboard, I will
but
clear off some of them.
the ones you're not using, you
Mm.
donate it straight away. So that
No, I
this
have donated many. I keep donating. Like anybody who comes to my house, one gift is a book. Or if I give any gift, go somewhere, I give a gift of a book according to the person's taste. So books are always rolling only, but still it keeps accumulating more than it goes out. You know. So we need to big. Okay. So
I had written that what happens in transit transit period.
okay.
My doubts I had written here. These two doubts, and this is the third one. I mean, uh, during that period, these things happen. And during the next period, these things happen. In between, there will be clashes of the.
No, not necessarily. While tapering out between the Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, between Ramayana and before the Dwapara Yuga, at the end of Ramayana, when Rama goes and uh, into the river, Sharayu, he commits suicide. Like you can say, he just drowns himself into the river. The entire
I need a Samadhi
this.
ritual.
So, but many people along with Rama, so many of his people, his subjects, his people from his kingdom also went into the river. Means they just walked into the river, and
Jal Samadhi.
river absorbed them.
Jal
So
Samadhi.
after that, it will be more or less a period where there is nobody in that kingdom. It will be deserted. Then, but not necessarily. It was only in Ayodhya or in that area. But the rest of the life will go on. But at that time, what they will do, they will still remember the effects of Ramayana, of the Treta Yuga, how Rama ruled. So all that will continue for half the period of time, for 400 years. The impact of the rule. Now, for example, now 75 years, we still feel the impact of the British rule. Right now, because the time is moving so fast, it is 75 years. Otherwise, it would have gone for 400 years. Like, for example, when the Chola, Pandya, those Rajas were there, they lived for 16,000 years and all. So 400 years is a very small period of time. So that impact will be there. Impact was there till the Mughals arrived in India. At that time, there were Rajas only all over. So that impact will be there. Then after the Mughals left, another 400 years, their impact is there. Still, all their monuments is there,
Till
their
now it is
practices,
there.
even Qawwali, the Sufism, everything is there. It's 400 years since then. 1500 or 400 onwards, still it is there. So it will be there for 400 years, and then it will taper off. Now if you see IT and things like that, something is changing, is happening, change is happening, and more of illusion. Remember, this is illusion, artificial intelligence. It is not real intelligence. So artificially created. So this will go on for another.
See, artificial intelligence is only a tool. You
It's a
should know
tool.
how to use it.
We need to know to how to use
Hmm.
it. So this is all Maya only. So we need how to only use it. Know it that it will change. Know that it will also change. So we need to stick on to something more permanent so that we can take us on to the Kruta Yuga. We should not collapse in this Kali Yuga.
Now this bubble is going to burst. AI bubble. It
If
is
this
becoming
Kali
bigger
Yuga,
and bigger.
if you get lost in this Kali Yuga, the quality, the framework of this Kali Yuga, then you will go out of circulation. Means you will not be involved in the uh, life life as such. You'll go out of circuit. Then you might be born as a lower animal or a lower a plant or a tree or some any other species.
Uh-huh.
You will not be born as a human being. It will be dominant according to the dominant quality that you exhibit.
That is that Lakshya 84 का फेरा.
Then only you will be able to. Then again, you have to evolve to become a human being. So keep your humanity intact, the qualities of a human being. Then only you will be born again as a human being. Otherwise, you can deteriorate into any animal. Okay, so it's been a long discussion on Yuga Dharma and the various qualities, the impact on our lifestyle, and how it has been, we have been moving through the ages. The transitions that has been happening from the times when gods ruled the earth to when then incarnations had to come, and then it is deteriorated to the where Mahabharata Yuddha took place, where Pandavas were actually a part incarnations of one aspect, one element. The fire element, the air element, all of those elements, the Pancha Pandavas. But Kauravas were all from Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was a blind, and Dhritarashtra is one of the 10 snakes. Daksha, like Taksha and all those snakes are there, no? Sheshnag, Taksha. One of them is Dhritarashtra.
Oh,
So that is how this 100 Kauravas and all were born. So then that was the Mahabharata Yuddha. And now we are in the Kali Yuga. The things don't seem to be getting any better. But let us see. We can always hope for the best. As you said, when it will come to an end, looking forward to the establishment of Dharma again.
not during our time.
Anyways.
It will take hundreds of years more.
Yeah. So we are, yeah, that was, I was just telling you, we are in the 5171th year of Kali Yuga. It's a lot more to go. 28th Chaturyuga only. A lot more Chaturyugas to happen. But all Chaturyugas need not have life on the planet.
Uh,
If we kill ourselves, if we burst this planet itself, I mean,
Atoms.
if you are destroying the vegetation in nature, only ultimately some forests may there, some rocks may be there, towards the end of the this cycle. So let us preserve as long as we are there, as long as we have a mind to use,
Retain
right?
mental sanity.
Yeah, maintain the mental sanity amongst the chaos. So with that words, we'll end this today's call. Meet
Good
tomorrow.
day.
Have a
Yeah.
nice day. Thank you.